Rev up your engines. Today we got an interesting one. It's a Honda CR-V and it's getting horrible gas mileage, 12 to 14 in town. He's had it for years, so he knows that it's gone downhill. It's not like, you know, he just bought it. He's had it for years. And as you can see, it's made in Japan. And you can see he has a little trailer, but it's only about 400 pounds. So it's not that big of a deal. It's only front wheel drive. So let's try to figure out why in heck is it getting such horrible gas mileage. Now this thing should get 20, 21 in a city and 25, 26 on a highway. For my customers that have them, that's generally what they average. So it's definitely below. Now there's obvious things that can give crap gas mileage. One is a clogged air filter, but he's not a dummy. He's changed that. It made absolutely no difference whatsoever. And since it's getting a little bit older, you can see he's changed the intake hose here because they will crack and get air leaks and do crazy things. Let's start it up, see if we hear anything like a vacuum leak. Now it sounds totally normal. I don't hear any vacuum leaks or anything, but if you look closely, some intake, it does vibrate a little. There's something going on, so let's get our big computer out. And we'll turn on the auto, the green light's on, and let's see what's happening here. I gotta say, it's one of the best scan tools I've ever had. We'll do a standalone diagnosis, and as you see, as it pops up, it's already read the VIN, okay? Full scan here, it's gonna scan it. While it's scanning it, we'll kind of look around. He's got nice seat covers, seats are still real comfy. First thing I notice is, he's getting 24 miles a gallon on the highway. And that's pretty much what these things get. So, his problem is low gas mileage in the city. Stop and go. The highway, that's totally normal for one of these things. 24. See, it's been around a little. It's got 161,831 miles on it. Airbags, that's got codes. He doesn't care about that. He's worried about the gas mileage. And the tire pressure monitoring system, they're all broken. Batteries are probably dead on them. As we can see here, no codes for anything that has to do with the running of the system, right? So we're going to start by looking at the raw data coming out of the engine. We'll try to figure out why it's getting bad gas mileage in town. But okay on the highway. Remember, black is good. Now the MAF sensor showing 1.7, 1.8. It's a 2-liter engine, so there's nothing wrong with that. Airflow sensor, 0 is perfect. It's working fine. It's just a tiny, tiny bit off. Shows about perfect. 14.7 to 1 is perfect, so hey, it's about as close as you're gonna get. Now we can see the short-term fuel trim. It's adding 1.17. Long-term is adding 1.17, and that's getting near the edge of it. So, could easily be a problem with it not getting the right fuel trim just because of old age and carbon. We're gonna get some of Bernie's ATS cleaner from Albuquerque. Pour it in and take it for a serious drive. Pour the whole can in. Do it slow so you don't spill any. And considering it's got a little bit less than half a tank of gas, it's more concentrated, so it should work faster. It's working. We're gonna look at some other data, see if there's any kind of red data anywhere. No misfires, you can see 0 misfires. It's not misfiring. Now these things only have 5-speed automatics. In this year 08, that's the only thing they offered in these. So we're gonna take it and see how it shifts. And while we're doing that, we're gonna go to the automatic transmission, and we'll go to live data, and we're gonna record it. All the different solenoids, and we'll record. We're going to take it for a spin, emergency brake off, and here we go. We'll see if any of the shift is weird, especially at stop and go traffic, because it does get normal gas mileage on the highway. Now I can hear the tranny whining a little from a stop here and gradually accelerate and see how it feels. It's staying in second gear a little bit too long, and of course that's going to knock your gas mileage down. Downshifting okay. It's not like it's sticking, but it goes first to second good, but second to third it's really staying in gear a little bit too long. And if you stay in second gear too long, stop and go traffic, your gas mileage is going to go down the toilet. And soon we'll get to our little drag strip, but you can see it really stays in second gear a little bit too long for my liking. Don't see anybody behind us, so we can stop, and here we go. Got a little wind noise, but we want to pass somebody. We're going like 50 now. We'll floor it. Not a race car, but it accelerates good enough. it downshifts okay. You can see we're only going like 1,600 RPMs. That's why it's getting normal gas mileage at highway speeds. It's the stop and go that's staying in second gear too long, which is going to make it get worse gas mileage in town, which is what he hates, because really, he said 24 miles a gallon and he drove over here on the highway. We're going 50, it's only now about 1,500 RPMs, so that's good gas mileage. In second gear, I can hear it whining. The transmission is obviously somewhat worn. Already I can feel it idling better with Bernie's cleaner cleaning out the fuel system. I noticed that already. So in the case of this vehicle, I might get it running a lot better with the cleaner. But I'm really figuring, hey, it's the transmission is why he's getting bad gas mileage in town. It just doesn't shift fast enough. And if you stay in a lower gear, second gear too long, your engine spins too fast, right? We'll look at the fuel trim data stuff after we drive it a while to see if we're actually fixing that with the cleaner. But I have a feeling the gas mileage ain't gonna change. You can see the short-term fuel trim is now 1.07, 1.05, 1.03, and that the long-term fuel trim is 1.1 now. If you remember, the fuel trim was 1.17. It's going down. So the cleaner's actually helping it. And I can tell because it's idling much smoother. It kind of amazes me that it can work that fast. Now, you're supposed to give it 150, 200 miles of drive. At that point in time, it'll probably get even better. Now, he's going to tell me if he gets better gas mileage, but I have a feeling that it isn't going to change that much because he was getting normal, 24 on the highway. It was in town that he was getting crappy gas mileage. That's because it's not shifting out of second gear fast enough. The transmission's just worn. See here, the actual and commanded solenoid is right here. For the early gears, you can see the actual and the commanded is different. They've got these loops in them. And as the time goes on and we're driving, we'll keep watching the data, you'll see when it's time to shift into second gear, it's taken too long of a time frame to shift. It stayed in the lower gear too long. And as you can see here, we'll pause it. When it shifts from second to third gear, you can see there's a bit too much of a dip. It takes too much time for it to shift correctly. But of course, all this electronic information is just confirming what I already felt. I could feel it was staying in second gear too long, which is going to make you get worse gas mileage. Now, you might get a little bit better with Bernie's cleaner, but then again, it was getting 24. He'll find out when he takes a trip if even the highway gas mileage goes up from 24, then that helped with the highway gas mileage. But from my perspective here, it's always going to get somewhat crappy gas mileage in town because it's staying in second gear too long. And you can see it's not shaking like it was before. So it's definitely running better, but you saw the data on the scope and you could feel that it just stays in second gear too long. Basically, on a highway, he was getting 24, right? We'll see what happens. He can tell me later on after he drives around for a week or two, if he gets better gas mileage than 24 on the highway, guess what? The cleaner actually made it get better gas mileage. But I can just about guarantee you, it's still gonna get bad gas mileage city going because it stays in second gear too long. It's not like you're flooring it and accelerating fast and it stays in high RPMs. They do that for acceleration. When you even do a moderate acceleration, it stays in second gear, and that's why. But you got to consider that he got this car for free. He was given the car. He only had to put a starter in it. So, I mean, hey, for the price of a starter, it's a nice car. You're not going to rebuild the transmission. It's nowhere near falling apart where you have to do it. The weak points of the Hondas are always their automatic transmissions. As they age, they get certain wear points. You can hear it humming. You heard that humming. That's just the tranny humming a little bit. But it works perfectly fine otherwise. It's just stop and go traffic, gets worse gas mileage than it should, and really, these were never gas misers. I mean, 24 miles a gallon for a little car like this. I get 37 in this Matrix. Granted, the CR-V is much faster, it's a heavier vehicle, but this is an 07. It gets 37 on a highway. That's getting 24. You're never going to get great gas mileage in the older ones because the engines are too big and the transmissions, being Honda transmissions, eventually wear and they don't shift fast enough. Now he knows there's nothing wrong with the car itself. It's just the transmission is slightly worn and it doesn't shift from second to third fast enough. And guess what? When you're driving a stop and go traffic, you're doing a lot of shifting from second to third gear, and if it's staying in second gear most of the time, down goes your gas mileage. So that shuts the case on the CR-V, and really, he got it for the price of a starter. He put a starter in it, so hey, it's still a really good car, and he just doesn't like the fact that it doesn't get phenomenal gas mileage, and really, it's only off about, 3-4 miles a gallon in town, and on the highway it's totally normal. So hey, for a free car, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.